Why is it that Nicki Minaj is so invested in what's happening to you?
I haven't spoken to her, by the way, so I'm gonna put that on the record. I have not been in direct contact with her. Would love to. Would love to. I think she's standing up for me because she has been through some trauma and
Mhm.
some abuse with Roc Nation, with Desiree Perez, with other individuals.
This one's wild. Just last week, Nicki Minaj stirred the pot by calling out Roc Nation, and it's not the first time she's had tension with them. Roc Nation, the powerhouse run by Jay-Z and CEO Desiree Perez, has been on Nicki's radar for a minute now. She's dropped subtle hints before, suggesting she's been dealing with some shady sabotage behind the scenes. But how deep it goes is still a mystery. But here's where it gets even messier. Nicki recently showed public support for Desiree Perez's daughter, Demorie Hadley, who's in a full-blown legal fight against her own mother. According to Demoree, Desiree allegedly went to extreme lengths to spy on her and her husband, Gavo. She claims Desiree hired a whole crew of people to stalk and harass them, private investigators tailing them, a GPS tracker slapped on her car, and even a hidden camera planted in her bedroom without her permission. That's not all. Demoree says her devices were hacked and her husband was wrongly arrested 3 different times. But the most shocking part? Demoree says her own mom tried to have her locked up under the Baker Act and the Marchman Act, even though she swears she's mentally stable and doesn't do drugs. She believes Desiree did all this just to get control over her through guardianship. That's next level. Desiree didn't stay silent, though. She went to court and managed to get a gag order slapped on Demoree. That order was granted by District Judge Beth Bloom. But before the court shut her down, Demoree gave multiple interviews to BJ Investigates and Jaguar Wright. This family drama is off the charts. Respectfully, Xavier and Tasha K also got involved, helping share Demoree's story, and she even spoke out during a segment on NBC6 South Florida News. Nicki Minaj has been closely following all the drama, just like everyone else watching this unfold. And she didn't stay silent. She's been publicly supporting Demoree, even posting "Why Justice for Demoree" as a clear sign she's backing her. Nicki also took that moment to vent some of her own frustrations. When someone commented on TikTok saying, "Especially lately, they haven't wanted us to defend you at all," Nicki didn't hold back. She revealed something wild, that people had access to her social media accounts across all platforms. She admitted she didn't even change the passwords. She let them keep going just to see what they'd do. Nicki claimed, "They allegedly did to Demoree what they did to me, and you have no idea how disgusting it gets." Then she really turned up the heat. Nicki told her fans, "Enough is enough, Barbs. That's the real reason I won't release music to the PMs who claim it wasn't made clear to your ugly self." Hopefully Demoree's massive and detailed page-by-page claim gets you all the way caught up. And never call me a liar, never insinuated either. Every single angel ever created fights for me at the mere mention of that word as it relates to me. Vengeance is the Lord's. Be careful, no one who conspired on the wrong side will go unpunished for the role they played in this movie. I hope it was all worth it. Demoree was moved by the support and she actually thanked Nicki Minaj directly and said, "Thank you, I'm so grateful." Even though Nicki never met her, the story clearly struck a chord. Just like the rest of the world, Nicki listened, and she felt it. Demoree's words really hit different, especially because some folks out there think Nicki Minaj is just being dramatic or paranoid. But when Demoree shows love to Nicki like that, it speaks volumes. It makes people wonder what Nicki might have gone through behind closed doors. There's probably a whole lot that hasn't come to light yet, and maybe that's why Nicki is riding so hard for Demoree, just like many others are. Now, digging deeper into Demoree's side of things, the question on everyone's mind is, what really went down between her and her mom, Desiree Perez? Well, according to Demoree, their relationship has always been complicated. She says her mom wasn't around much when she was growing up. Desiree was deep in the streets, allegedly moving drugs, caught up in fraud, and living that criminal life. She even ended up behind bars at one point. Later on, Demoree claims Desiree turned into an informant. And on top of all that, Demoree's father was no small-time player. He was part of the Puerto Rican cartel and is now serving a life sentence. Because of all that, Demoree says she was raised by her grandfather and his wife, Olga, someone she affectionately called Mommy, since she was the real mother figure in her life. That didn't sit well with Desiree, who reportedly hated it. But the drama didn't stop there. Demorie also says her mother never accepted her relationship with her husband, Javon, a black man she's been with since she was 14 years old. She's now 30, so they've been together for over 15 years. According to Demoree, Desiree's dislike for Javon runs deep, and she wasn't shy about listing all the reasons why. There were multiple incidents that led up to Demoree actually filing a lawsuit against her own mother, Desiree Perez. And the details are wild. It all kicked off around September 2023 when Desiree allegedly called the cops and falsely claimed that Javon, Demoree's husband, had put his hands on her. That right there is swatting, and it's serious, but it gets way more disturbing. When the police arrived, they reportedly told Demoree and Javon that Desiree had been watching them through a hidden camera.
Apple Watch, my iCloud were hacked, cloned, and manipulated with a cybersecurity forensic team and software, which we have proof of.
There was a second device that was not my device that was able to get into my iCloud, download all my information, back it up, and essentially was active on my phone through another phone, which my investigative team discovered, it's what's called, they clone your phone.
One she allegedly installed in their room without them ever knowing. That's straight up terrifying. Even the officers supposedly said it. It's like something out of a thriller. And when Demoree and Javon packed up and moved out, things didn't stop there. Demoree claims that Desiree went as far as hiring private investigators to move in right across the street just to spy on them. That's beyond creepy. But the situation escalated even more. Once Demoree and Javon realized what was going on, Desiree allegedly started trying different ways to get Demoree committed, hoping to use mental evaluations as a reason to Baker Act her. In other words, she was allegedly trying to pull a Britney Spears-style move on her own daughter. And here's the most messed up part. One day, Demoree got a call saying her uncle was on his deathbed, but when she rushed over to see him, she says it was all a setup, and Desiree allegedly tried to trap her and hold her against her will. This whole situation is unreal, but it didn't end there, not even close. Demoree claims that while she was working at a company called Iconic, she was told to hop on a Zoom meeting with someone introduced as a director from Nike Academy. Sounds normal, right? But according to her, the whole thing was a setup. She later figured out that this so-called director was actually an undercover doctor, allegedly trying to run a secret psych evaluation on her to dig up dirt and find an excuse to Baker Act her. That's next level shady. And the pressure didn't just hit Demoree, her husband Javon got dragged into the chaos too. She says Desiree's alleged actions kept going, and it all came to a head with Javon getting falsely arrested on December 30th, 2023. Demoree was absolutely furious about it. She believes her mother tried to use an old situation from back in January 2022 to get Javon caught up again, this time accusing him of domestic violence. But here's the twist. Demoree says the video from that incident was edited. She explained the real story. She was sick with COVID at the time, and Javon was trying to leave the house. Out of insecurity, she thought he was stepping out on her and got emotional. She even admitted it, and they were young, had their little arguments, and she was honest about having trust issues. In the heat of the moment, she picked up a Swiffer, and Javon tried to block it. But in the video, that part was blurred, making it look like he was the one being aggressive. And according to Demoree, that move was all part of a bigger plan to frame him, and she wasn't about to stay silent. So apparently, Demoree and Javon had a small, petty argument, nothing out of the ordinary. Demoree later explained that she was battling a high fever from COVID at the time, so she was feeling extra emotional. Even though it didn't make her look the best, she still chose to share the truth just to clear the air and show that Javon wasn't out here putting hands on her like that. What's even more telling is that after the whole situation, Desiree was still cool with Javon, at least for a while. But everything seemed to shift once Demoree and Javon started pulling away from Desiree, especially after suspecting they were being watched. That distance didn't sit right with Desiree. According to Demoree, that's when her mother allegedly started trying to tear them apart. One of her moves? Trying to get Javon locked up for domestic violence, a charge he was not found guilty of. Demoree says that a private investigator named Jeffrey Brown was brought into the mix, allegedly hired to keep surveillance on her. She believes he played a major role in getting Javon arrested. This story is straight up disturbing, and it only gets deeper. After Javon's arrest, Demoree claims Desiree went even further, this time allegedly teaming up with an attorney named Brett Schwartz. The goal? to get Demorie committed so she wouldn't be able to testify for her husband. And what were they trying to pin on Javon? Human trafficking, something Demorie says is a complete lie. Javon never trafficked anyone. To make things worse, Demorie says her every move was being watched. She wasn't just followed. Her devices were allegedly cloned and hacked too. This goes beyond drama. It's pure psychological warfare. We're talking about serious next-level stuff. Text messages getting manipulated, phones and devices being hacked, accounts accessed, and even phones getting cloned. This wasn't just paranoia, it was tech warfare. And what's wild is that Bobby Shmurda, a former Roc Nation artist, once mentioned that there were hackers involved over there too. At some point, you gotta ask, if so many people are saying the same thing, can they all be lying? After Demorie's husband's DV case got tossed out due to lack of evidence, she says things didn't slow down. In fact, they got even more intense. She claims someone who worked for Roc Nation went to her counselor and played a fake audio recording. In the clip, it sounded like Demorie was screaming that she had been assaulted, but according to her, it was completely fake and meant to frame Jevin once again. When that setup failed, Demorie says Desiree took things further. Allegedly, another attempt was made to have her committed, and the way it was done, straight up terrifying. Demorie had traveled to Royal Palm Yacht Basin thinking she was going there for a business meeting. But when she arrived, boom, it was a setup. She says she was suddenly surrounded by a group of people pretending to be from a crisis response team, including police officers, private investigators, and a doctor named Dr. Daniel, who had never even met or evaluated her. And according to the lawsuit, Demorie says that Dr. Daniel acted on Desiree Perez's orders, trying to have her committed against her will. It didn't stop there either. Dr. Daniel allegedly told the staff to medicate Demorie, but she stood her ground and absolutely refused. This whole thing plays out like a psychological ambush. Desiree ended up voluntarily dropping the case against Demorie. And the reason? She couldn't lock down guardianship over her daughter because Demorie had solid proof backing her up. She was able to show clearly that she wasn't mentally unstable and had no history of drug use, so the guardianship move fell apart, but even after Demorie was released, the pressure didn't stop. They allegedly kept targeting her husband next. Demorie says Desiree has serious ties with the powerful law firm Reed Smith. And get this, one of their attorneys, Laura Gatz, allegedly called the police on Javon in yet another attempt to get him arrested. But it didn't stick. That's how intense this situation got. Legal power moves, failed arrests, and nonstop harassment. Demorie laid out all the details in her lawsuit, explaining exactly why she's now suing her own mother. It gives clear insight into why she's fighting so hard to protect herself and Jevin. She's calling everything out. On Twitter, Demorie went even further, accusing Roc Nation of having ties to TMZ. She tweeted that Roc Nation allegedly hired TMZ to contact the state attorney's office in Miami and push false stories, trying to build a bogus case against her and Jevin. According to her, I never wanted to go to the media. I was bullied and I had to protect myself and my husband. That's a heavy claim. TMZ working side by side with Roc Nation? Very suspicious. And guess who chimed in? Nicki Minaj tweeted something that made people look twice, saying, "All sounds so familiar." That one sentence said a lot. Trying to break up a marriage with lies and legal muscle? That's low, real low. Demorie didn't hold back when she called it out, saying people with unhappy lives love to come for those in happy marriages. And let's be real, tearing a husband away from his wife with fake claims and powerful connections, that's just nasty. Demorie even posted a clip where Desiree was caught on camera admitting that Roc Nation almost went bankrupt. Now that's a major bombshell, and definitely not the kind of news a big-name company like that wants floating around. It raises a lot of questions about what's really going on behind the scenes. But for now, Demorie has said her piece. She's put her story out there loud and clear. Sadly, she can't say much more. The courts gagged her, and now Desiree has filed a motion to get her sanctioned. This means Demorie's got an uphill battle ahead of her, but according to her, she's sitting on a mountain of receipts. Concrete evidence that backs up everything she's claimed. Where this case goes next is anyone's guess, but one thing's for sure. The truth always comes out eventually. If you made it this far, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. There's way more to this story, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Stay tuned.